Hi, I'm Roland Minton. These are some of my favorite math stories. In this episode, mathematics is circular. We'll string together a sequence of facts and ideas that follow the work of an influential French mathematician, leading from Einstein's theory of relativity to Picasso's cubism. Much of the information comes from the book Einstein and Picasso, and the presentation is organized like those in James Burke's book Circles. I'll start with a picture of evening relaxation outside the Café Einstein in Leiden, the Netherlands. Beautiful spot. About 100 years before I took that picture, Albert Einstein hung out at the Café Bulwark in Bern, Switzerland, discussing physics and the ramifications of non-Euclidean geometry. An important source for Einstein and his colleagues was the book Science and Hypothesis by Henri Poincare, an influential mathematician and thinker. In this book, Poincare not only explained elements of non-Euclidean geometry, he also speculated on time being dependent on space. Poincare had been among the first to notice and describe elements of what we now call chaos theory. He won acclaim for his work with the three-body problem, the motion of three objects acted on by gravity. The two-body problem was solved by Isaac Newton, but adding a third complicates the possibilities immensely. This is a possible motion of three planets. It explains the aliens in the excellent sci-fi book, The Three-Body Problem. My son got interested in possible planet choreographies. That's gravity only, all bodies following the same path. You can find some amazing choreographies here. As an undergraduate at Harvey Mudd College, he also worked on some aspects of voting theory. See the episode Non-Transitive, a topic studied by the English professor Charles Dodgson. Dodgson is better known by his pen name, Lewis Carroll, the author of the Alice in Wonderland stories. A recent TV production of Alice in Wonderland stars Tina Majorino. She was also in the movie Before Women Had Wings with John Savage, who was in the movie The Tender Age with Kevin Bacon. And you might recognize that I'm playing the game 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. See the episode 6 Degrees. The mathematical version of this game is the Erdős number, 1 if you co-authored with Paul Erdős, 2 if you published with somebody who co-authored with Erdős. One person I know with the smallest Erdős number is Art Benjamin, who has an Erdős number of 2. Art, by the way, a professor at Harvey Mudd, is a great entertainer who weaves together magic tricks with interesting facts about the Fibonacci numbers. See the episode 2 Leonardo. Some believe that the Fibonacci numbers were used by Leonardo to structure the Mona Lisa. The Mona Lisa was stolen from the Louvre in 1911. A person of interest was Pablo Picasso. He and his friends were known to borrow objects from the museum for closer study. Picasso is one subject of a Steve Martin play. Yes, that's Steve Martin. Picasso at the Le Pan Agile. The Le Pan Agile was a cafe at which Picasso and his friends hung out. Among the topics that led Picasso to Cubism was the relativity of time and space, which he used in his breakthrough work, Les Demoiselles d'Avignon. These discussions were often led by Maurice Prince, a mathematician strongly influenced by the book Science and Hypothesis by Henri Poincare, which at the same time was being discussed at the Café Bulwark as Albert Einstein developed his theory of relativity. Which brings us right back to the beginning. Who would have thought that the same mathematics would inspire breakthroughs in both physics, relativity, and art, cubism? Why was Poincare's book so influential? Well, 2 important ideas discussed in Science and Hypothesis involve time and geometry. In particular, Poincare speculates that space and time are interconnected, a major breakthrough in Einstein's later theory of relativity. In this theory, as you move faster, time slows down. If that sounds unlikely, experiments on airplane flights have shown that atomic clocks actually do slow down when traveling at high speeds. For Picasso, the idea of time as an extra dimension shows up in his depiction of the same person or object at different times in multiple poses. As Poincare said, imagine that the different perspectives of one and the same object to occur in succession, and that the transition from one to the other is accompanied by muscular sensations. Picasso had been highly influenced by African art, which emphasized different geometric shapes. His collection of African art, borrowed from the Louvre, was what made him a person of interest in the Mona Lisa theft. Poincare gave excellent descriptions of non-Euclidean geometry, in which linear perspective is only one of many valid geometries. Poincare said, "One geometry cannot be more true than another. It can only be more convenient." In Euclidean geometry, a line, defined as the shortest path between 2 points, is a straight line. But for geometry on a sphere, or the Earth, a line would be an arc of a circle, since the shortest path is along a great circle. See the episode Mapped. One of the early experimental verifications of the theory of relativity came from measuring the bending of starlight observed during a solar eclipse. Einstein's theory is based on four-dimensional space-time being curved, non-Euclidean. Poincare wrote, "There is nothing, then, to prevent us from imagining that these operations are combined according to any law we choose. For instance, by forming a group with the same structure as that of the movements of an invariable four-dimensional solid." Highly influential. For an enlightening and challenging read, check out the book Einstein and Picasso, which makes these and many more connections between science and art.